It is the night of October 31st. The silvery light of the moon is shining on the land like any other night. But tonight is special. Every year on this night, witches from all over the world gather to celebrate life and magic. Tonight, however, Septima, the oldest and wisest of us all, had a vision of those who prove their virtues and wisdom by the end of the next lunar year. The most worthy will be chosen as the next Septima. Septima is a competitive, highly interactive strategy game of witchcraft. Become a leader and manage your coven of witches to take advantage of their unique abilities. Select your actions simultaneously and move around the town and the surrounding forest to collect ingredients based on the moon phase and brew potions to become more efficient and to heal the people in need of your aid. Performing the same action with other covens improves the effect of your action, but it also raises suspicion in the townsfolk and increases the chances for the relentless witch hunters to capture your witches and bring them to trial. Manipulate the trial's outcome by winning the support of the citizens and by sending your followers to the trial chamber to save the witches from exile and expand your coven. Master your witchcraft by performing rituals and gaining powerful charms, or by transforming into animal forms to call upon nature's power, all while adapting to the ever-changing world of omens. Fulfill your destiny written in the Book of Divinations and gain the most wisdom to become the new Septima. Pledge now for the exclusive deluxe box, now on Kickstarter.
Hey everybody, welcome to another One Good Turn video where we present a virtual overview style demo, just like you'd see at a convention or a fair, but we're using TTS. We'll go through a sample turn and kind of basically show you how the game plays in action. Today I'm joined with Rob from Mindclash Games. How you doing today, Rob?
I'm fine, thanks. Thank you for inviting me.
I called you, Robin. I'm sorry, Rob. I didn't mean to call you Rob.
Robin, it's good.
Right. So Septima has air majority, it has hand management, we've got simultaneous action selection, variable player powers, all the good stuff that we'd expect from a Mindclash game. But this one's a little easier to digest, right? A little on the lighter side.
Yeah.
So
a little bit, but yes.
A little bit, yeah. It still seems a little heavier for me.
The great titles, it is a little bit accessible, more accessible. Yeah. So the deepness of the game, I think, is the same, but you can more easily join with your friends around the table and just start to play. So, yeah.
Right. How long does the average session take?
1.5 hours. It depends on the player count, and if somebody just really AP and just thinking all actions around and around, then longer. But I think 1.5 hours is a good approximate time for the game.
It's a good time, 1 to 2 hours sweet spot. So, well, let's take a look here at the table and give everybody an idea of how a turn works, shall we?
Yeah, so we can see the town of Noctenburg, where the Septima, the High Witch, the leader of all witches, is living. And in every year, the witches are gathering in the town, and during the witches' Sabbath, the Septima, during that witches' Sabbath, the Septima said that will be the last witches' Sabbath when she leads the witches, and in the next year there will be a new Septima. So during the game we are competing covens, and we try to prove our wisdom to the society and try to verse the role of the next Septima. On the top right corner of the board we can see the inner circle shows us the seasons, the 4 seasons of the year. So we will play through 4 seasons, and the outer circle shows the lunar, the moon track and the moon phases of the game, because the witches are quite closely connected with the moon. Every player leads a coven, as I mentioned. If you check the player board, we see the leader, the witch leader. You can see that little crown over the tile, and an apprentice who helps her. In that case, Hazel, and other members of the coven. And during the game, those characters in our coven give us different abilities of the game, and we try to fulfill our destiny, which is shown on the Book of Divination card. During the game, we try to collect wisdom, basically victory points, from many sources. So we try to win trials, because if you check here, poor Randall is under a trial, and we try to save him. And if we participate well in trial, we receive wisdom points of the game. And also there are in the town, we can see patients, and if we heal patients, we receive wisdom too, because if we are a leader of a coven which helps the people, that shows we have high wisdom. So that's another part of the game where we can collect victory points. And also in the game, there are, on the player board, I can show you, there are different potions. What else a witch can do in a game than prepare precious potions? There are healing potions, which are for healing the patients, but there are prestige potions like that. And if we prepare those, we collect wisdom too. Also, we can use those potions for different abilities. For example, that potion is a flying ointment, so you can fly all over Noctenburg with that. But you receive victory points from that too. And last but not least, we have the ritual board at the as we just joked about, on the left side we have the right board, so yeah, the ritual board. And if we climb wisely on the top, we can receive extra wisdom. So basically those are the main sources of wisdom, the victory point. But beside that, the previously mentioned Book of Divination is quite important, and let me tell you why. Because on that we see 4 different tasks. The players try to fulfill those tasks, but for every task we need a witch. So if the game just ends now, I have 3 witches, so I can fulfill only 3 of those tasks and receive victory points, wisdom points. You can see there on the top. So that, for the example, that Book of Divination says I need to receive a lot of suspicion during the game. So here, at the left part of our player board, you can see that that suspicion track. So if I draw that Book of Divination at the beginning of the game, I know I need to be very adventurous and do crazy stuff and receive a lot of suspicions. But also I have a task, I need to heal 3 blind patients in the town too. So that give a direction for my game. And also I need to collect 3 skull ingredients during the game. And the 4th one, I need to be in the red, the flame part on the ritual board too. So the game gives different sources for victory points, but beside that we try to focus on that Book of Divinations. Basically it is an agenda for the players. But how the game works, how in a micro level, because the victory points are always the macro level of the game, we try to collect those and competing in that. But during the game flow, what in the video we just mentioned, and it is very important, that semi-cooperative simultaneous action selection thing. It is quite important. And let me explain how it works.
Well, before you jump into that, Rob, let me cut you off for 1 second. I'm sorry, but I want to come back to how we go through the turn in a second. But I was just listening in trying to digest what you were talking about with the goals. I love scoring goals. So on these divination cards, on the divination cards, I missed where it was showing the witch, like where your witch was. I get the potions.
On the top part, you can see X witch, arrow, X goal. So if I finish the game with 3 witches, I need to choose 3 goals from that, because those tasks for 1 witch. If I finish the game only with 2 witches, then maybe I fulfilled all the 4 tasks, but I can resolve only 2 of that because my coven consists only 2 witches. So that's why we try to save witches from the trials. Not only because that's the
goal,
that's the right thing, but also our book of divination is give the direction, but also it needs witches who can do that task from our resources. So that's
we're saving. We're saving people. These are the wounded that come out. I assume these come out randomly. Right?
Yeah. There is a system how we spawn those patients, but yes, at the beginning of each season, we flip patients here, and with the actions, we need to be adjacent to them, and we need to prepare the right potion. So if you check the green players, I just take that too here in the town, so you can see he or she has a blind remedy potion. So if the pawn just step here and you use the heal action, you can spend that remedy potion and heal that patient. And why we want to heal patients? Because in one hand, if you have any tasks on your book of divination, that will give points, but also on the right part of your player board, there are 3 patient tracks. So if I heal that blind patient, I can advance on that track. And we're not just using tracks because Eurogames using tracks, but that shows if you heal many patients from one type. So for an example, I healed 4 blind patients, then I received 16 wisdom points at the end of the game, because I specialized my coven to healing that kind of patients. But also, if I advance equally, each row I checked gives me 7 extra points. So the
you can either specialize or you can go and kind of be balanced and also get a bonus. That's good. It gives you a choice.
Yeah, absolutely. And because I know in Board Game Revolution there are heavy gamers and players who love games. Yes, that's basically how in Seven Wonders the science scoring works, and I think that's not a
choice,
but using the right mathematics of.
I don't always love being balanced, because then I have to do everything perfectly, and sometimes that's hard. But I like that you can specialize, because you never know how the board's gonna populate in the games.
Absolutely. So if the situation changes during the game, you can pivot your strategy and change to another. And also, if you check on the patient tracks, you can see icons, because if, for an example, if I heal a paralyzed patient and I advance on that spot, that shows 1 loyal citizen, which I will explain later. But the gift, how
Oh, the reward. You mean
would
reward?
say?
Yeah, the bonus for going there.
For
Yeah.
exchange is really. Yeah, sorry,
It's okay.
I just don't remember the right word.
No. So
but
you're talking about if you.
he,
Okay, go ahead.
he gives us some gifts, ingredients,
Oh, okay.
charms, and other things, so it can give an immediate bonus for the player. Yeah,
And that's only that particular icon, that meeple. Would you call him?
Yeah, citizens. So there are three types of citizens. If you check the crowd, you can see the red ones are the hostile citizens, so they don't want witches in their town. The whites are the neutral citizens. They just don't care, that whole witch thing. And the colored citizens are the loyal citizens, and they are loyal for a player or one coven, so they represent them in the trials, as I will explain it later. So basically, on the main board, we see those patients, and we can heal them with the right potion and with the right action. And also, in the town, you can see 3 different buildings. Those buildings, if you are next to a building and resolve the right action, you can take a benefit. For an example, if you are stand here and that building is the inn, and that shows if you use the recruit action, which provides you your loyal citizens go into the crowd, so they will appear. If you recruit people in the inn, you receive 1 extra loyal, because over a beer it is quite easy to convince others to join our coven or help us. But also a hostile citizen appears, because the wall has ears in an inn, so in a pub.
Right.
So basically, that's an example of a building, and there are other kind of buildings. So that gives a little not replayability, because all stuff in the game just is for replayability, but variations for how
varies
the
town
setup is looks like.
The setup is variable for sure.
Yeah,
so that's going to change.
Yeah, because during the design, at first I tried to create a town with modular parts, but it is quite hard to balance a board. So I think that gives that variability for the board, but not broke the game with some overpowered spots and other stuff. And around the town, you can see the forest itself, and on the forest ties there are the ingredients. So if you resolve a collect action, you can take an ingredient from the supply. But an important thing, if we check the moon itself, so here, the moon track over here, we are in the 4th moon phase, and the lunar ingredients are the berry and the root in that season. So if my witch stands here, the orange one, I can collect 2 roots and the berry, because those are the lunar ingredients. And here comes why it is worth to matching with other players. Let me find the collect action. I put it right there next to the witch pawn, because that action says collect all lunar ingredients from adjacent hexes. Yes, we already know that. But the matching part of the card says additionally collect a single non-lunar ingredient from an adjacent hex. So if I choose the collect action and another player chooses because we told or accidentally or anything, then we can add that bonus to that action. So that's why we try to somehow working together with the others. But as I mentioned previously, it is a competitive game, so it just gives a flavor of cooperation. And as I see in that game, it is actually real cooperation, because we are cooperate in the reason we receive benefits from that, and not cooperate because the game says. Because in cooperative games, many times we do
yeah.
that because it's a cooperative game, but in that case, that gives an extra flavor to it. So
we have to cooperate, but it's in our benefit to do so. That's the main reason why.
Yeah, absolutely. And later, when we will go to the nasty part of that town because there are witch hunters and suspicious people. And later, I will explain how that what is the counterpart of the collective actions, because if only benefit comes from it, it is a dominant strategy. But later I will explain how it balances during our strategy. But back to the board, around the town you can see there are only one ingredient near to the town, because people going out there and harvest many things, so it is not full with the valuable ingredients for witches. But the far part, the outer part of our main board is the dark forest, where you can see many of those magical ingredients are growing, and also the crystal, which is special in that city. The crystal ingredient is a wide ingredient, so you can replace during brew and other actions any ingredient with that crystal. So and that is growing, not growing, but that you can find only in the deep forest. So basically that's the main board. So we have the town with the patients and the buildings, and from here the outer parts are for collecting ingredients. And if you see on the edge of the map, there are the huts of witch hunters. And why that's important? Because if you check a hut, next to the hut there are lines with different colors, and that highlights a zone connected to that. Because I showed the game you and for Thomas on TTS, it is hard to so in life it is much clearer where are the zones, but if you follow the colors of that dots or that crossroads, you can see, for an example, I take that spot, because that's yellowish, that connected to the number 4 witch hunter. So if a player do a collective action with another player, then after your action you raise your suspicion, which will affect the angriness of the mob or the people in the crowd. But also, if you do suspicious action, the witch hunter will try to capture you. In that case, my meeple is next to an empty witch hunter hut, sorry. That's not a big deal, but it takes some attention from the witch hunter. So at the end of the turn, it will appear here. The closest witch hunter will travel there, and it just looking after our suspicious actions. But what happens if we are in a zone with the witch hunter? In that case, so I try to, okay, so for an example, my the player board here shows my suspicion level is 3. Then, because I matched with another player, and only that case, so if you are suspicious that way, then you need to roll with that witch hunter die. That shows us a modifier. In that case, it's -1. So my suspicion was 3, the level, -1, it is 2. So that witch hunter can move 2 steps and try to capture me. 1 step, 2 step, okay, doesn't find anything, it goes back to the hut. So with that, you can see several things. First of all, the zones are important. Where you do the actions, because those are connected to the witch hunters. And also, if you are closer to the witch hunter huts, and closer to the deep forest with the precious crystal and many ingredients, then if a witch hunter finds you, that the chance for it is higher, because with fewer steps it can capture you. And also, if you match during all the game with other players, then your suspicion level will rise, and it makes the witch hunter capture you more easily. And also there is that die which can give only a little luck, I can say, because that's the modification is from -2 to +2, so a little, and on 3 sides of the die there is a 0, so you can calculate, but you can never know exactly what will happen. But in the game it is very important, I really want to highlight, we are heavy gamers, so we really know how luck can ruin sometimes your strategy. But in that game, you have the spatial aspect, so you can go in the right direction to avoid witch hunters. You have charms and witch abilities which can help you during that situation. And also there is a potion, the calming potion. Just a sec, I take that one. The calming potion, you can brew it, and anytime you can use it to send the witch hunter to another zone or reduce your suspicion. So it is really important to highlight me, because after the first pitch, lot of heavy gamer or player of complex games has, oh no, die, I don't want to roll because I'm so unlucky. Right. But I think you have a high impact on that one.
So let's break it down. And
question, just interrupt me, because I really love to talk about the games.
So. And I don't want to, and I appreciate your enthusiasm, but let's focus it just to do a sample turn here, and we can give people just an idea how it flows. You've showed us some good examples of the ways we score and how things interact. But yeah, let's get to a turn here, and we can, so we're played over, what is it? It's over a year, and then there's 4 seasons, right?
Yeah, 4 seasons.
And each season has 5 phases, right?
Yeah, the 5 phases. And here is that phase track, which is just a reminder for players what actions you can do during your turn. So I think after the first game you just don't use that, but for the first few games or your first game, it is quite helpful to follow the things. So first of all players chooses 1 card from their hand and put it out secretly. So now at the example turn, those 2 players are in play and they choose 1 card. Then we reveal those cards, and in that case both players have chosen heal. Yeah, I rearranged a little bit during my enthusiastic explanation, but give me a sec and I will go that. Okay, so they choose the same action. Also, if you check the Septima token here at the bottom left corner of the board, the players can choose to match with Septima too, so it highlights if you play a right card, a ritual card, you can match with the Septima. So that's important feature too. Your actions not rely only on other players, but you can do your job alone or with the Septima, but it is quite good to match with others. Okay, so here both players choose heal action, and in that case both players can add the lower part, put the citizen from the crowd to any trials chamber. But first of all, let's check the heal. The green player starts, and the green player stands here at the, no, that's not the green player, excuse me, that player stands here, and that spot is next to a blind patient. Yeah, the green player has the blind patient, very good, I just put it here. But also it would be really nice to heal another patient, because the card says you can heal up to 2 patients, and that's how the leader of the green coven appears, Hazel. And the ability of Hazel says if you heal, you can heal 1 patient who is 1 hex away from you, because on the campaign site you will see the backstories of the characters, and you can read why it is the ability of Hazel. So in that case, you can see that paralyzed patient is one space away from the green player, so she can heal both the patient. So the player just pay the potions. So
the potions are a resource, just like crystals. Crystals were wild, right? If I got that right.
Yeah. White ingredients, so you can use during brew. But now that player healed both patients and advance on the corresponding track. So there was one blind patient. I advance, and also one paralyzed patient. That shows us put one loyal citizen into the crowd. Very good, very good. And the other one showed us advance one on the right board. So we go on the ritual board, and the green player can advance here. Very good. That right board will give those charm cards, but every time when we advance, we go further. Okay, so that was the part for the green player, and let's check the purple player. She stands next to two infected patients, and voila, there are two infection remedy potions. So I just pay it back to the supply, and she heals both the patients. Those will be removed after the action, but if there are several players next to a patient, both can heal. So that's the only reason why I don't remove the patients immediately.
Oh, okay.
So
somebody else could heal them in the same turn, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
And you said purple, but we know you meant orange.
That kind of race aspect is in the game, but if you reach that patient in the same turn, it could be really harsh if the player order or any tiebreaker just
gotcha.
happens.
And I was trying to cut you off, but hey, Robin, I just want to clarify for you said purple, it's orange, just so people know.
Yeah. Okay.
They got messed up. It's okay.
Yeah. I'm not colorblind, but
I am. So I was like, wait, what? Yeah, there's purple. Blind.
Yeah.
It's
so
okay.
the purple player stands here and spends the two infection remedy and heal those two patients. In that case, that player can advance two on that part of the player board. So one loyal citizen goes into the crowd, very good, and the other, you can lower your suspicion by one. Very good. But also, let's check the coven of the purple player, because there is Berta, whose ability says, if you heal two patients in an action, you can advance on the air part of the ritual board. So let's go to the ritual board. In that case, that player, the purple one, now I think I said right, then it can advance. And what we can see here, there is a crystal. We randomly put it on that board during the setup. So that player just collected that white ingredient. And also on that stripe, you can see at the right part of the ritual board, that icon shows you can receive a new charm. And because the player is in the air part of the board, there is that nature or the green part, the air and the fire. So the player can choose from the air charms.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, charms. Yeah.
So I think she will choose just the beginning charm, and she will use it later. So you just take it, and later you can use it. Okay. So both players resolved that action. Let's move on the next step. step A, it says if you matched with the player, you can advance on the right board. Because the right advances, previously there was just bonuses for the players, but basically that's the way how we advance on that board. You can advance on the next spot, but only if you matched with the right action. So
we both matched,
the
right?
green player matched, and on the next spot you can see, okay, sorry purple, I put you a little away, because those are translucent discs, but in TTS it's
horrible,
harder
yeah.
to manage.
But we both matched, right, Robin? We both matched. So don't we both go up?
We both matched, yes. So he's here and I'm here, but I matched with healing. So next, over my spot, there is a move icon and a heal. If you matched with any of that two, you can advance. But the purple player is here and he matched with heal too, but the next spots are Cantation and Recruit. And that's an aspect I really like in the game, because the whole right board, the ritual board, always says you, okay, try to match with that to the next two actions. So it, like the Book of Divination, it gives a little direction for
you're moving up.
actions.
You're moving up without just randomly doing it. I actually hate when games do that. It's like, what one do I want to go up in? And I never care, because it's like it could be any of them. But now it's like I have a purpose. So that's cool. I really like that.
Exactly. And the little backstage information. If you check the parts, the green, the air, and the fire parts, there are, in the green parts, there are more collect and move actions, because the Mother Earth and the nature says, okay, move around the nice fields and collect, and the fire shows a lot of brewing, because with fire you prepare potions. So it give the different parts of the right board give different ways for your game. And as you climb up, you can refresh your already used charms, and you can receive wisdom points at the top part. So that's the reason why you try to climb up, receive during game abilities with charms, receive crystals which just spread out, and receive victory points.
Is this only when you match stuff that you get to move up?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you match, you can go up, and we have the right action, and with the right action you can advance anyhow, so you don't need to match.
Okay.
That's the reason why I designed it into the deck. It is quite frustrating if you really want to receive that charm, or really want to earn that victory point. So if you give an action for it, you can do it. So that's the other way. And also, as we previously saw, the patients can give us the characters so many ways to do that. But basically, the main thing is matching. So let's go on step F. That's, as I mentioned, that's just a little help for the starting player. So it is not quite strict if you are familiar with the game. But it says if you matched, you need to rise your suspicion. And both players matched, so rise the suspicion of both players by 1. And here comes... I removed the orange player because I demoed with only the purple and the green. So that says if you received any suspicion during that turn, and you have a witch hunter in your zone, that it will try to capture you. So for green player, it is true, because she stands on that spot which is connected to the witch hunter number 1 in the hut number 1. So she needs to roll a suspicion roll. So let's check. Her basic value is 4, which is... let's check the roll. Okay, -1, so the witch hunter can make 3 steps. 1, 2, 3. So yeah, she was in a safe space because she was quite far from the witch hunter, but she needs to roll in that case. Okay, so yeah, but I think that's a good point to show you what's happening if she captured. So if I roll a number which provides enough steps for the witch hunter to capture that witch, in that case, the players on the player board, you take your leader, which is Hazel now, and you put her into the second chamber. So at the end of the season, there will be a second trial where we find out the fate of Hazel too. And if I, the green player, participate in that one, I can receive back. But if the purple player provides more possibilities or more help to Hazel, then she will join to their coven. So that's an interesting part of the game. And also, if there are more hostile citizens than neutral, the witch is exiled, which is very important. I don't want to over talk it. If you check the designer diaries I wrote, there is an entry which runs through why we changed the history in that way and how we recreated that word. Okay.
I have a question.
Yeah.
That you were saying that, you know, the witch hunter would move and capture if it could, but do they move anyway if they can't, or do they not move? I thought.
Yeah. So in
we took
step
suspicion,
G,
so it should move, right?
If you received any suspicion and there is a witch hunter, let's roll. And if not, and that's the case with the purple player because the hut number 3 is empty. In that end, she received the suspicion too. In that case, the witch hunter will appear and move from the closest hut there. But the step G is the capture phase, so she is safe until the next turn. She can travel to the other part of the Noctenburg, or she can manage that suspicion. So basically, if your zone does not have any witch hunter, you are safe for that turn, but they are after
they're always moving.
Yeah, so they try to capture you. Okay, so one thing we just forgot, the collective bonus of the heal action, because the lower part says put a citizen from the crowd to any trials chamber. So in that case, the crowd is that center part, and both player resolve that. So the green player takes one loyal citizen and put here on the seats of citizens, and the purple player does the same. If there are two trials, then you can choose which is more important for you. Okay, so that was one turn, and I really want to show you an extra turn with less talk and more action. So try to I put Hazel here and simulate the situation. There are two trials, and I just change the previous action, and the green player tries to save Hazel's life. Okay, what we can do to have an effect on the trials? I think green player really want to save that poor girl, so chooses the plea action. And the purple player thinks, okay, I want to participate in that one too, but I'm not focused for Hazel as much. Okay, so Septima just discard her action and reveal a new one. And if you check it, it says in the next turn, or in our current turn, she will do the plea action. So that player can match with the Septima, and we will see how it works. Okay, so both players have chosen a card, revealed, and then the green player resolves it. Okay, so what the plea card says, put a citizen from the crowd to any trials chamber. That's really good. The green player, the reason why he chose that was that, so put that green citizen on the second chamber. But because the player matched with the Septima, because if you check, the plea action is in that active spot, the green player can add the collective bonus. Additionally, remove a hostile citizen from the crowd and score 2 wisdom. Very good. We remove that red guy from here and score 2 victory points. In TTS, I show that digital, not witchcrafty device, but in the game there will be beautiful coins to count the victory points. Okay, so the green player is done. What the purple player do in that turn? Add the loyal citizen to the crowd, easy peasy, and no collective bonus because she just didn't match with anyone. Okay, so let's move on. Right, let's check. The green player can advance on the right board. No, she can't, because the icons in front of her right marker is not right. Yeah, okay.
The purple can,
so,
right?
Yeah, and the next one. And here, the purple player just don't match with anyone, so she just skip it. But the player, yeah, so do you have any questions?
Oh, no, I was just wondering. I see the icon in the top left of their recruit, and then looking at the purple board, doesn't that recruit action there? Doesn't purple get the move there?
Yeah, but why she can do that? Because you can advance only if you match. So if you check the step A, it shows if you match with the player or with the Septima, you can advance. So that's how you can't do alone everything.
That makes it a little harder. That's good. So yeah, you have to match, and then you can move more. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, but the green player just matched with the Septima, and if you check, that shows you received 2 suspicions from that action, because the Septima is the wisest and oldest from all witches, so it is quite suspicious to match with her.
But for mechanically, she's an option for people to match to. Sorry to interrupt you, but it's with this. It's a good point. So automatically, she's there, whatever. It's bad to match with her, but mechanically, you said it's another way for players to match up, right? So especially with lower player count,
absolutely.
That's good.
Yeah. So the decision here, you exactly know you will match with the Septima. No hidden information, because if you match with
what's
other
coming
player,
up.
that's a human factor, but you receive more suspicion.
Okay.
I just forgot, when Hazel is captured, that player loses 2 suspicion, and the reason for that is a catch-up mechanism. So I just don't want, if you capture, you will again. But in other hand, in the thematic way, the people of the town says, okay, Hazel was suspicious, that girl was suspicious, so let's lower the suspicion for the rest of the coven. But now, as she matched with the Septima, we rise again. I just wanted to fix it, because in other way it can see, you can see as, okay, that's not
it wasn't accurate, but the witch got caught, which basically lowered suspicion for the coven. But when we did this next action, it raised the suspicion because we chose Septima, and that obviously is a little easier to do, but it's going to have a drawback. So I got it.
Absolutely. And now here is the witch hunter phase. So the green player received suspicion. So she needs to roll with the die, because
Let's move that over here so we can see it.
Yeah, but now, Thomas, you will like it, because we negotiate the luck factor in the game. Because the green player has that flying ointment, which provides infinite steps for the player. So in that case, if I would be the green player, I spend that flying ointment and I flying there, and in that zone there are no witch hunters. So with that potion I saved my ass, if I can say that. And no roll for the witch hunter, but the step H says the witch hunter goes after me, so in the next turn I will be in trouble that way. Yeah, so there I just wanted to show how we can negotiate luck in the game.
That's
and
helpful.
in some situations it is more important to match and go to the dangerous part of the main board than yeah. So we need some negotiation, I think. Okay, right. And as I mentioned, we are at the end of the season. And at the end of the season, we resolve the trials. So at the end, let me show you how the trial works in the game. First of all, there are hostile citizens, neutral and loyal ones we just put into during previous sections. But there is some connection between the suspicion levels of the players and the state of the crowd. If you check the suspicion track, you can see those icons at the right. So for all players, all lines we just go over, we put one extra hostile citizen into the crowd. So that player, the green one, advanced over 2, so I put 2 red citizens into the crowd, and if I am over that, I put more. And for the purple player, she advanced only 1, so I put 1 hostile citizen. In one hand, that manages the player count, because if we play with more players, we put more hostile citizens into the crowd, and it is great because more actions in the system and more loyal citizens appear too. So it's in one hand player count compensation, but also it shows a thematic state of the game. If we are reckless, or not reckless, if we are more, very suspicious, then a lot of hostile citizens will appear in the game. And now let's resolve the trials. We take all the citizens in the crowd and put it into the bag. It is a randomizing bag in TTS. In actual life, it is a bag, and we draw randomly from it. So let's see what will be the fate of Randall in the first chamber. I draw, okay, 1 neutral citizens. We try to make a positive outcome. Every loyal citizen gives +1 to the sum. Every neutral citizens give 0 to the sum, and every hostile citizens give 1 negative to the sum. And if the result is positive, then Randall is released, the trial was successful. And if the sum is 0 or negative, he's exiled, and the trial was unsuccessful from the point of view of witches. So let's draw the next one. Okay, 1 hostile citizen. You can see now we are in +1 because -1 and +2. Okay, +1 again, a neutral one, and because we play with 3-player game, because there is an orange one, so I draw 2 extra. Okay, so we can see the result is positive because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 -2, so +3. In that case, we all players receive wisdom after the participating citizens. You can see here the trial was successful, so every player receives 2 points after each citizens. The purple player receives 6 points. The orange player receives 2 points after that. But we have
question. I got it.
Yeah?
I have to jump in. So there's a bag building element. We set up the board for people. What's the state of the town there at the beginning? Is it randomized? Yeah. Is it like equal numbers?
No. At at the beginning of each season, we put equal number of hostile citizens and neutral citizens than the players. And after that, with the recruit actions, with advancing on the patient tracks, we put extra citizens into the crowd. And also there is, I will not explain, but there is that prologue cards. I just showed the back of the card and the front. So those cards are for asymmetric starting resources for the players. And if you choose the right cards from prologue, you can start the game with citizens in the crowd. And also, after we resolve the trial, I will show how the next crowd is created. So the players receive the victory points, the wisdom, and we have to find who is the leader of that trial. And it is the purple player, because it participated with 3 loyal citizens. So the purple player just take Randall. Okay, that's more card. Yeah, and we can see Ilana for the next turn. But there is a bottom line for the purple player, because she receives back all of her citizens. So it is out from the crowd. But the orange player didn't receive any of witches. So that citizen goes back to the crowd. So it didn't fulfill his destiny, that little citizen. So it will part of the next season's trials. And also we remove the hostile and neutral ones. So let's check the other trial. Okay, quite good. Yep. And here we go. So -3 and +4. So it was really close, but we saved the life of Hazel, or saved her from exilation. And who is the leader of the? Okay, so all players receive 2 wisdoms after each participating citizens. And after that goes back to the green player. So the effort, if you remember, the green player just played plea action, with which just secured that spot. So that he just set that citizen here. So that's another part of luck negotiation. Some players don't like really luck, but with plea and other abilities, you can have great impact on the trials too. And in that case, the compensation is the same. The green ones go back to the supply, and the other ones go back to the crowd. So for the next round's trials, the purple and the orange player has a bigger chance to win the next one. So that's a balancing thing too.
So that's the end of a round, right? Doing the trials?
Sorry?
Doing the trials is the end of a round, right? So we have
end of the round. Yeah.
So is there 4 or 5 rounds?
Yeah, so 5 rounds.
Okay.
We play
and then what happens?
5 cards. Okay. And after the 5th turn, we resolve the trials, and then we prepare the next round, spawning new patients if there are, if we healed the previous ones, and the next, and take back all the action cards, and the next season is just starting. And if it was the last one, then we receive points, after crystals, remaining potions, everything. But which is the most important is the Book of Divinations. In that part of the game, we resolve those cards. And that was really important for me because, as I mentioned, and you mentioned too, we really wanted to make a deep game, but more accessible for not gamer-like players. And in my case, I have gamer friends and not gamer friends, and I figured out, or I found that if you exactly know at the half of the game you will lose, it is more harsh for not gamer because
I don't think it's fun even if you are a gamer, though.
You can turn
Nobody likes that.
anything. And that was the reason why I really wanted to that secret book of divination thing, which will give you a direction, which is help the newbie players, and also that gives, okay, but I'm really good with my divinations. I will turn the final score at the end. So I really like that moment before the final scoring. You really don't know it is enough to win the game or is not. So that's always a good moment. And so for the point at the end of that long sentence and that long explanation, that's the end of the game. So I need to drink a little bit.
You do that.
Thomas, it is your turn now.
Yeah, it's okay. Well, I think it does a pretty good overview of what we're doing, what people are doing in the game, and the actions you take and the different ways to score. There's some very good ways to mitigate luck for those that don't like it. I like for me, I appreciate scoring objectives, even as not a newer gamer. I think it's great to have some kind of focus. I like the variability. I like having secret goals. Me personally, I don't like sandbox games. I don't like games where I can do whatever I want, because eventually I'll find a strategy and stick to it. And every game I find myself just doing that. That's just my own personal weakness. I mean, after I explore them. So it's great that you've got a lot of ways to score. There's variability to move up the tracks. You've got incentives to do so. So I think you did a great job, Rob. Congrats on your first design. This is a great. I mean, first official. I mean, you self-published, right?
Yeah. First published widely, because my previous games were basically love projects. I printed those and distributed and everything. So yes, that's my big entry.
Right. Well, I appreciate you for taking the time out today, and congrats to the Mindclash team as well for all their success. And I'm a big fan of their games. That's why we help promote them. One of the reasons they've always been good to us. So it's been nice to meet you and get to learn more about this game. I'm actually more excited about it now. The point of these videos, though, are not for my influence. So it doesn't matter what I think. It matters what the viewers think and that sort of thing. So I definitely want to continue and play this a little bit when we're done here. But I think we've taken enough time, and I know you've got a lot to get to with the campaign. So for those looking for more in-depth views, I'm sure Paul Grogan will probably be doing a how to play, and there's other how to play videos that definitely will give you more in-depth idea of what's going on. So with that, I want to thank you again, Rob, and everybody that's watching, stay tuned for more. If we have time, we might do an interview. We'll see as the campaign unfolds. But until then, everybody check out the campaign, and we'll have a giveaway again as well. So stay tuned for that. And as always, take care.